Peace and good morning. I'd like to welcome you back into the File Playland. As always, I'm your File Player. Wanted to make a video regarding my thoughts on where I sort of stand, like post election. As you all know, Biden has quote unquote won the election based on the Associated Press. I mean, the tallies are still not accounted for at this current time. Like, I mean, this is not me speaking. I'm being candid in the fact that I wanted Trump to win. And I don't vote. I haven't voted since 2000. And the only reason I voted in 2000 was like just so I could get away from the situation that I was currently in for a few hours. But besides that, I never vote. Like, I mean, I'm politically in tune and I watch everything that happens. I read the papers every day. Even though I shouldn't. I don't watch the news, but I look for my news sources where I could and where I think they're coming from legit avenues. So it's not like I'm in, I don't, what happens on TV doesn't make or break my opinion. Like, or I don't formulate my opinion based on what I see on the mainstream media. But having said all that, I'm coming from a perspective of a Puerto Rican, quote unquote, minority voter. What some yuppies with blue hair are now calling Latinx, which I don't know what that means, but I don't think it means anything good. But I try to speak from that perspective before I speak on like a general perspective. Has voting fraud happened? Like, all right, so I'll get to my voting fraud stance. Has voting fraud happened? Like, from what I know of, yes. Like, in the election that I voted in 2000, that was widely accused of some funky stuff happening in Florida. What you're seeing now, though, countrywide, in several states like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, Nevada, to name a few, is that there may have been some collusion or some funkiness as far as this election goes. For that to be looked into isn't much to ask for, particularly when the race was so close. As of this current time, the race was won by Joe Biden, quote unquote, by 0.008%. That's only a couple 100,000 votes countrywide. In Pennsylvania alone, like, I mean, some people are saying that there may be up to 600,000 fraudulent ballots that were casted through the mail-in process. I mean, like, whether you like Trump or not, just because your guy, the guy, or because I don't think a lot of people are like really pro Joe Biden, because I think most people can't name me 5 tenets of Joe Biden's policy. I think a lot of people are anti-Trump, and that's cool. Like, if that's what it is, that's what it is. I won't dissuade you from that one iota. But I think a lot of people are sort of aware that some funkiness may have happened, and being that the guy that they didn't want to win, i.e. Trump, lost, they're cool with the result. But I mean, like, I think it's more than fair, like, to ask for, in a case like the one that we're in now, like the fact that so many mail-in ballots had to be casted due to the biohazard event. That sounds like Bro Sid 91. But with the fact that we had this anomaly of mail-in ballots that had to be casted, which resulted, according to the people counting, in the most turnout for any election ever. I mean, we got to look through that with a really, really fine-tooth comb. I mean, like, and I don't even think it's going to take that much to see that some funkiness did happen. I mean, you're getting people who are giving affidavits as we speak, saying that they were privy to things that were funky. And this wasn't like one-off events. I mean, like with the postal worker in Michigan that has already come out on video saying that his supervisors made him post ballots from November 4th as if they were from November 3rd. That's a big deal. I mean, like, you know, you could really find out a lot in an investigation of that form, and see how high up that goes. Was that a decision that was made within that post office or within that branch, or was that done by a postmaster like that was above him? You know, how far, and like if that was the case, how far up does that go? You know, these are good things to know. I mean, like, you know, elections, I mean, like, I never really felt this way, but I do now. I mean, like, and sort of because I did cast a ballot this time, but it is a sacred entity in this country. I mean, and if, you know, we let that fall on the wayside because the guy that we didn't want to win didn't win, or because we got the outcome that we wanted, you know, then like what happens the next time in like 2024 if, you know, the illest, you know, pro-black or pro-Puerto Rican even, you know, like guy runs and he's the guy who you feel is going to change like the world like in generations to come and gonna right the wrongs of, you know, the planet even. What if he's the one that's slighted by the some shaky polling that's happening, or shaky mailing ballots? Because I mean, it's not just the mail-in ballots that were reported to be skewed, but there was also you know, some people saying that there were, not even some people saying, like, so reportedly there were glitches that were happening with the actual polling stations. So I mean, like, you know, I think we have nothing more than time. Like, I mean, like, I could foresee another lockdown happening soon. We're still operating as if it's sort of like a lockdown. We got nothing but time. I mean, like, to try to find out if this election was up to snuff, and if Joe Biden won fair and square, I mean, like, you know, more power to him, congrats. But if something funky was awry, you know, I think we have to know as Americans what that means, and how it happens, and like try to circumvent it from happening in the future. And I mean, whether you like it or not, like, I'm updating election if Joe Biden wasn't rightful winner. But also too, I mean, I see a lot of people hitting my inbox and like messaging me. Like, I mean, and a lot of the people, like, I don't even like talk to really like that. Or like I have a crazy relationship like that. I mean, there's people that I haven't talked to for years probably, who I've never talked to like on social media, or like one person I ever talked to through text even. I mean, he did have my number, but you know, we don't have a relationship where we talk even once a year. But you know, I put a few posts on Facebook, maybe like 3 total, like that would give you the fact, or that alluded to the fact that I wasn't voting for Joe Biden, and it wasn't no crazy like pro-Trump stuff. Not that I had to defend myself, but I don't really like to get into protracted arguments via social media, because I'm a real life person. You know, I get out there a lot, and you know, if you play me on social media or something like that, you know, like, I'm not gonna, you know, see you from across the street and act like I didn't see you. You know, I'm gonna ask you, you know, what the hell is happening. But having said all that, I mean, you know, a lot of people hit me up on my messages or through text, like gloating, like, you know, like the fact that Joe Biden won or Trump lost. I mean, like, you know, I didn't know that people were so politically invested into this situation. I mean, you know, and I hope that the scrutiny which they placed on Trump turns out to be a long-term good thing, and that scrutiny is placed on all our politicians. You know, the fact that somebody who looks like us in Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, the fact that we're sort of familiar with him from his time of being the vice president of Barack Obama. Let's not let us, as so-called minorities, rock us to sleep. I mean, I think we were rocked to sleep through a lot of Obama's presidency, and I wanted Obama to win in 2008. But I don't think we were politically in tune with what was happening. I mean, Flint's water is still bad. Um, Nothing was done like for the advancement of minorities. A lot of people that were black or Spanish would sort of make excuses for Obama and say that he can't do things like that because the Senate, or because he doesn't want to make it seem like he's a president just for black people. It's not gonna cut it. I mean, like, especially now at this stage. I mean, like, now I think, like, as black and Spanish people, I think it's a good time to feel like we're entitled to some sort of political collateral. Even though if I had to predict whether that's gonna equate to anything, it's not. I mean, I think they're gonna continue to keep dumping on us moving forward. If the people who currently are listed as the winners retain that win. Like, I think that we didn't ask them for anything going in, and I think they're not going to give us anything while they're in there. I see a lot of people like discussing these things like on YouTube. I even called into barbershop conversations like because he had a young lady in there that was saying things that I thought were unreasonable, as far as us bringing Joe Biden to the table. That's not going to happen. Like, I mean, I made that pretty clear, like, within that phone call, and I made it clear that I'm not black. I'm Puerto Rican, even though I talk like a white guy and I look sort of like a white guy. But some moron, I think his name was Part 4, within the comments of that chat, were saying, it's funny how people that aren't black want to be telling black people how to do it. I don't care if I was a classical freckled red-headed white boy. If I'm saying like stuff that's legit, it's legit. And I probably had of anybody I heard calling into that show on that evening, probably had made the most sense as it pertains to people that look like us. But it's always some moron who wants to be who's probably a Pentecostal or something, like, that wants to shoot down your arguments for the sake of just shooting it down. And that's what's wrong with all people in general. I mean, like, don't think that Puerto Ricans don't act corny like that too, And I've been part of tons of community meetings, and it's just a cluster of retarded people shooting each other down. Nobody's listening to each other. Everybody wants to grab the pulpit and be like and have an I gotcha moment, or like have some cool quote, or think that people are going to clap for them, and nothing gets done. I've been kicked out of community meetings like tons of times, but what I didn't see back in those days when I did attend a lot of these community meetings in Sunset Park and in the greater Brooklyn area is that the people that were hosting or running these community meetings were part of the Democratic liberal arm that runs New York. And those people just, put a pacifier on our communities, keep us shut, rock us to sleep, give us a venue like to make it seem like we're mad, get a little gas out, and then go back to business. I mean, I think, like, if it were Republicans, and I'm not a Republican one iota, that were running these things, when it comes time to get us mad, I mean, we'd take it with a grain of salt. We'd take it like, it's a combatant that's against us when discussing these things. When it's liberals or Democrats, and like, we get mad and go to these town hall meetings, we think that it's people that are grateful or gracious enough to be listening to us in the first place. So once we let a couple of words get out of our system, a lot of us feel like we're okay. Oh, they're not going to run that on us next time. And 6 months later, they come back around and do the same thing. Or they throw a couple bucks to the richer Spanish class, like they used to do in Sunset Park. And the richer Spanish class would would then become our enemies of the people, and get people like me kicked out of these community meetings. But let me know what you guys think. I mean, like, we're back like to where we started. If anything, we're not one step forward, one step back. I hope they do look into this election, and I'm not sour one iota. I think my new conservatism has taught me to, quite frankly, behave more conservatively. If Trump, the guy that I wanted to win, doesn't win, what am I gonna do? But if they do look into this thing, and Trump does have a case, and God forbid he may become the victor, God forbid in your eyes, I hope you guys behave accordingly too. I mean, I haven't rubbed it in nobody's face, and nor will I, or I wouldn't rub it in nobody's face. And I hope things remain cool and don't get torn up, and people aren't babies about it. There's different crazy times, or these are peculiar times, and I think peculiar times, or like processes like a mail-in vote, it require different sets of standards, like, to be looked into. And I can't stand when people say, oh, well, mail-in ballots work this way. I don't know how mail-in ballots work, and neither do you. But mail-in ballots in mass, like we have now, seemingly more mail-in ballots were cast than like regular votes, or maybe equal parts mail-in ballots and poll votes. Then yeah, I mean, that's a large chunk, especially for the biggest election of all time. So it gotta be looked into. But let me know what you guys think. No hate. Peace.